What's up guys, C-Twan13 here, and in today's video we're going to be unboxing and setting up the cheapest mobility scooter you can get on Amazon. Alright guys, real quick before we jump into the unboxing, I just want to say I couldn't tell you what the brand name is on all of these because almost every listing you find, it's going to be some other company slapping their sticker or their brand name on this white box scooter. Essentially, there's a single manufacturer that makes these, and with the exception of a few minor changes or trim pieces or color options, it's the same scooter. Someone just decides to put a different sticker on there. So the last one that my parents got, it had a sticker on there with the brand name SKRT, SKRT, I think. This may be the same one if I remember correctly, but either way, I'll leave all the listings that I can find that are the same price and appear to be the same scooter in the description below. Just know with these Chinese white box products, especially these mobility scooters, if it has the same dimensions, the same specs, and the same appearance, it is in fact the same scooter. There is no difference. And even if you can't necessarily check the specs, chances are if everything else is identical, it is the same scooter. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open this thing up. And I don't want to drag this thing out too long, just opening it up. But this particular one is blue. And also I do want to apologize for the echoey sound inside the garage. My lapel mic died, so until I get that recharged, you're gonna have to deal with this. But hopefully when we get to the setup process, my lapel mic will be. So I didn't film the last one because my parents weren't even sure they wanted to keep that one. With this one though, they definitely like the last one, so we're gonna keep this one. It's pretty heavy, it's about 105 pounds, give or take. However, it's not too difficult to move. And you'll see when we get inside that the components do come apart. So you'll never have to lift the 105 pound weight all at once if you don't want to. If you're able to, then honestly, you probably don't need a mobility scooter. But on the off chance that you do and you just can't put a lot of weight on one particular foot or something like that, well, you could probably keep it all together. And then in a future video, I'll be showing you how you can actually modify one of these to have a lithium battery for way less than buying a from the factory lithium equipped mobility scooter. All right, so I'm bringing you in a little closer here. Here's how it comes inside. Very well packaged. I mean, unless the UPS guy straight up drops this on a corner off the truck, there's probably not going to be any damage. The easiest thing to remove first is going to be your basket. It comes with this spare tightening knob. From the last one, I'll tell you, there is actually an extra threaded knob. I couldn't figure out what it was for, and it was not for any of the critical connections in the scooter. So maybe that was a mistake on my part, but it hasn't affected the functionality at all. Your manual is right here. And here's gonna be your charger. Standard 3-pin scooter connector. Over here is your battery. Very heavy. Obviously, it has two sealed lead acid batteries in there. They're 12 volts and they're hooked up in series to give you a 24 volt pack. You'll see the specs on the bottom here. So 12 amp hour, you have your contacts here, and then this is a charging shutoff. So basically, if I remember correctly, when you're charging the battery on the scooter, this will send a signal through here, which will tell the onboard control panel on the scooter not to allow the scooter to move forward or back until you disconnect the charger and then cycle the scooter key. Here's your seat post with the retention pin. And now to get to this part, it's a little trickier because your handlebars obviously are connected to the base via the control cable that runs for, you know, power and controls all the way up to your, they call it the tiller, right? It's not really a steering wheel. So don't just yank on it because there is a cord attached. You're gonna kind of tilt it this way. You can see you can guide that cable out of the way, and then styrofoam should just come right out. Pull your cardboard out. And under here is, of course, your seat. Pull that out. Pull this out. And there is the scooter. Now, the scooter itself is pretty heavy as well. The battery, I think, weighs around 30-ish pounds, and the scooter itself weighs maybe 40. So if you struggle with lifting things that heavy, you may want to get some help. However, you should be able to just pivot it out. So the scooter also has a handle in both the front and the rear. So since the motors are in the rear, that's going to be the heavier side. So grab ideally the scooter from the front and then pivot it out that way. And the last thing that's in the box is going to be your 2 armrests. There you go. Now let me clean up this area a little bit, pull the plastic off, and I'll walk you guys through the assembly. All right guys, so I can't seem to revive my lapel mic, so again, I apologize for the echo here. Unfortunately, you're just gonna have to deal with it. So we've got all the components laid out. So now what we're gonna do is show you how simple it is to put this thing together. I would start with the seat first, at least getting the post installed. It's really simple. You just take the post, there's a plastic sleeve on the inside. You line it up with you line up the lockout notch with the rotation release here and knock it into place, and that's pretty much it. Next, we'll get our tiller installed. So we'll move the handlebars out of the way. Again, I'm not doing this in any particular order. It's just how I found it easiest the last time I did it. But really, for most of these things, you can kind of do them in any order you like. So you'll need your nut and bolt. I'm not really sure what else to call this. Obviously, it has a large tightening knob on it, but it is still just a bolt. So you're gonna take the tiller, line it up, take the knob side and go in from the left. Make sure your nut lines up with the recess on the right. And then once you have it in that recess, just turn the knob to tighten it into place. And once you do, snug it down, and the tiller is now in place. So for the battery, it's pretty simple. Just make sure that this cable that connects the motor rear unit to the front unit where they separate is not in the way. Tilt the battery in from the front, let it drop in from the back. Make sure this clamp isn't in the way. Then you're gonna move this piece over. If it won't move over, loosen this clamp right here until you can move this piece over. Once you do, tighten this down, and now the battery position clamp is in place. You can do this with the seat in position, but I just find it a little easier to do this the first time without the seat there. Next, you're gonna take your seat, pull this pin out, line it up with one of the holes. Again, we might have to rotate it. So it doesn't matter if the seat is out of alignment. We'll be able to pull the rotation mechanism to line it up. Just make sure the hole lines up with where you are. Then, if the seat's kind of cockeyed, push forward on the rotate mechanism and rotate the seat so it's facing forward. For the armrests, you're gonna find the slot on the side. Make sure you loosen the clamp, slide it in. Tighten the clamp back down once it's in the position you like. And tilt the armrest forward. Repeat the same thing for the other side. And of course, we're gonna need to put the basket on. Before you can do that, you're gonna have to cut off the included keys. These are just your simple push-on scooter keys, as you can see here. So they just slide into this slot. Take your basket, and make sure the bottom and the top notches line up with these two hook sections right there. And there you go, basket is installed. The last step is gonna be to remove these little booties they include over the tires. Last step, make sure the drive neutral switch in the back of the scooter is in the D or drive position. If it's in the neutral position, you won't be able to start the scooter. With that being said, now all you gotta do is take one of the keys, push it into the power switch, wait for it to boot up, and drive away. So there it is, guys. That's the unboxing and setup of the super cheap Amazon mobility scooter. Now, obviously this thing is new, but my parents previously purchased one of these and they've had it for a while, and they've been very happy with that one. So I don't foresee any problems with this one. So if you're interested in checking out one of these super cheap mobility scooters off of Amazon, you can, as always, check out the links in the description. I'll leave as many color combinations and trim variations as I can find. They may look slightly different, but functionally they're all the same scooter. In addition, if you'd like to see that lithium upgrade video, as soon as that's out, I'll leave that linked in the description and in a card above as well. So, if you liked the video, be sure to give me a like. If you have any questions, comments, or your own experiences with these super cheap mobility scooters off of Amazon, definitely leave that in the comments below. And as always, if you want to see more, including that lithium battery upgrade video, don't forget to get subscribed.